So in terms of your actual drawing exercise today, is that I want you to find um, something natural that you might have around the house, like a shell. You might go out into the garden and find a flowers or something that is not man-made, basically. And I want you, within that object, to be observing and finding the golden sections and let the measuring of 3s and 5s, or finding 8s and dividing it into 3 and 5, be how you gain the proportions of what you're looking at there on the page. So here I'm looking at this shell here, and when I look at this shell here, I can roughly gauge that its width to its height, so from here to here and from here to here, is roughly there is a 3 and a 5 proportion that way. So it sort of fits within a golden section rectangle. So that's the first thing I observe. I'm then also noticing the proportions between these parts of the shells, but these parts of the shell here, where again it's also going 5 3 5 3, etc., etc., through there. There's also some interesting relationships between these spines on it too. Between here and here we can see maybe a 5 and a 3, and then back along this way too there's a 5 and a 3 there as well. So these are things that I'm observing, thinking about the golden section, observing the golden section, being aware of the golden section, that help me place things in terms of getting it right here on the paper. What I want you to do is, like any of our other beginning exercises, is that you may start with a blind contour to really get to grips with the shape that you're looking at. And then move on to a modelled gesture. So I'm going to just start there with a modelled gesture. We're going to work to a 1-to-1 scale. So I want you to do the shell as big as you see it. So remembering that model gesture is just that feeling. You're keeping the pencil moving around, scribbling around, and feeling those shapes. But this time I'm scribbling around with a little bit of thinking about, as I'm making those marks, 5s and 3s as well. Once you've established that, is that then start to mass your tone over the top of that. So the first thing I'm going to mass is the dark parts, where I can see it as being dark. So that's principally across most of it through here. There's just these few areas of light catching, and then of course the light coming in from this side of the shell. So the light's coming from this direction here. And so hopefully you can see how that shell's developed from woe to go. And even as I sit here and look at it further, I can still see a few things that I would change. I think probably just with the needle eraser. It could have a little bit more bulk just through there. And I'll just reintroduce, and this is just with the 4H, just so it's gentle. A little bit more of a graduation there. Just so those lights aren't too big. So there you go. So as I said, find something that you might find at home that's a natural thing, or go out into the garden, finding something with a flower or something like that, and look for golden sections in helping you discover the structure and understand how to get the proportions down on your page. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing your results.